Good evening. Thanks for joining us at Awaz News. I'm Kubrali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Reported hate crimes in Toronto have surged since October 7th. Recent surge in gas prices in the GTA only the beginning, analyst says. Bonnie Crombie rules out Ontario carbon tax if elected premier. Man accused of killing Toronto police officer pleads not guilty to first-degree murder. Second case of measles confirmed in Toronto. Sudbury man charged in subway assault that left a 71-year-old man with serious injuries. Parliament to vote an NDP motion urging Trudeau to recognize Palestinian statehood.
Those were the headlines, and now let's jump through the details.
Members of Parliament are set to vote today on an NDP motion calling on Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government to officially recognize the state of Palestine. Liberal MPs have been divided over the Israel-Hamas war and discussed the vote during a call this morning ahead of debate on the motion. Outspoken Liberal MP Salma Zahid from the Greater Toronto Area says she intends to vote in favor of the motion, but Anthony Hasfather, a Liberal from Montreal, says the motion calls for a list of measures that are hostile to Israel. The non-binding motion also calls on the government to demand an immediate ceasefire and halt the trade of military goods with Israel. Muslim advocates are calling on MPs to vote in favor, while Israel's ambassador to Canada says they must not. A Sudbury man has been arrested after allegedly pushing another man to the ground shortly after he exited a subway train at Donville Station last week. The incident happened at around 9:30 p.m. on March 13. Police say that the victim, a 71-year-old man, had just stepped off an eastbound train when a suspect approached him and pushed him with both of their hands. The victim fell and struck his head on the ground. As a result, police say his injuries have been described as serious. On Saturday, police released surveillance images of a suspect and made a public appeal for information. Less than 2 days later, police haven't confirmed that a suspect has been taken into custody in connection with the incident. Franco Andre Lefebvre, 33, of Sudbury, has been charged with one count of aggravated assault. Lefebvre was due in court on Monday morning. Police continue to investigate. A second lab-confirmed case of measles has been identified in Toronto. The city's public health agency said that an infant who recently returned from travel has contracted the disease. The child is recovering at home. The first Toronto case was identified on February 16. Toronto Public Health is warning that anyone who attended the Agincourt Public Library between 1 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. on March 11th may have been exposed. Individuals should monitor for symptoms until April 1st and double-check that their vaccinations are up to date. Symptoms of measles include red rashes, fever, cough, runny nose, red eyes, and fatigue. Individuals can also get unusual white spots in their mouth. The number of measles infections in Ontario so far this year has already surpassed the total number of cases reported in 2023. As of March 13, Public Health Ontario had confirmed at least 8 cases of measles across the province. Cases have been identified in Peel Region, Hamilton, Brant County, and Windsor-Essex County. Of those infections, 6 were related to travel and 2 had an unknown source of exposure. In 2023, there were 7 cases of measles confirmed in Ontario. Canada-wide data is less detailed, with the Public Health Agency of Canada reporting 17 cases of measles as of March 2nd, along with 1 case of congenital rubella syndrome. Ontario Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie says she will not institute a provincial carbon tax if her party is elected in 2026. Crombie has been peppered with questions about her party's stance on the carbon tax since being elected in December, with progressive conservative Premier Doug Ford labeling her as Queen of the Carbon Tax. Until now, Crombie has sidestepped answering questions about the policy. Instead, she told reporters the Ford government was using the carbon tax as a distraction tactic and that the party was going to do their homework before picking a side. On Monday, the leader made it clear that any climate action plan the provincial Liberals put forward will not include a carbon tax. We will ensure major polluters pay, but we will not have an Ontario carbon tax on consumers, Crombie said in a statement. In response, the Ford government said Crombie's rejection of a tax on consumers isn't enough. The Progressive Conservatives, along with 6 other provincial leaders, have urged the federal government to pause the increase. The announcement came as the party announced a climate action panel of 6 individuals who will head consultations on the Liberal environment policy. A man accused of killing a Toronto police officer nearly 3 years ago has pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder. Umar Zamir entered his plea as jury selection began in his trial this morning. Zamir is charged in the death of Constable Jeffrey Northrup. Northrup, 55, died on July 2, 2021, after being struck by a vehicle as he was responding to a report of robbery in parking lot at Toronto City Hall. Another plainclothes officer was also injured. Northrup was a 31-year veteran of the Toronto Police Service. Zamir was granted bail in the fall of 2021, but the reasons for the decision and evidence presented in court are covered by a standard publication ban. The trial is expected to last 5 weeks. The recent surge in the cost of gas in the GTA may only be the beginning of elevated prices at the pumps this spring, one industry analyst warns. Canadians for Affordable Energy President Dan McTeague said drivers in southern Ontario have seen the cost of gas jump by 12 cents per liter this past week alone. According to his website, the average price of gas in the GTA currently sits around $0.59 per liter. It looks like we are only at the beginning of what could be a 20 cents per liter increase between now and, say, the May 24th weekend or July the 1st, McTeague told Awaz News on Monday. He said, while there are a lot of factors that dictate the price of gas, 3 things will guarantee an uptick in cost in the coming months. Oil is going to be moving up about $7 or $8 a barrel. That will be good for about a 10 cent a liter increase, he said. We know that mid-April, we have the switch over summer blends of gasoline, winter blends of gasoline. It does cost more for refiners to produce that particular blend. He added that the increase in the federal carbon tax will also push the price of gas up. Last summer, we didn't see hurricane activity in the US Gulf Coast. We didn't see much in the way of any unusual refinery issues or factors that would have adversely affected supply. This issue really is about supply and demand. Supply is not meeting the surging demand, especially in the United States. The head of Toronto Police says the number of hate crimes reported in the city since the onset of Israel-Hamas war on October 7th has nearly doubled when compared to the same time period from the year prior. Chief Martin Demkiw provided the updated statistics to Toronto Police Services Board on Monday and said officers attended 989 calls for reported hate crimes in that time, marking a 93% increase from the same time period in 2023. Police made 69 arrests and laid 173 charges in connection with those incidents, 203 of which were confirmed to be hate crimes, according to the force. Demkiw noted that although there was a drop in the number of reported hate crimes in December and January, police saw a significant increase in February with a 67% rise in calls. The group targeted in the second highest number of reported hate crimes in the city this year is 2 LGBTQ plus communities, followed by Black group and Muslims, Arab or Palestinian groups. Demkiw noted that while under-reporting of all types of hate crimes is a concern to police, those related to Islamophobia are especially worrisome. And given our statistics, I am concerned about significant underreporting in this regard.
This was all from us today. I'm Kubra Ali, and I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.